Hi, now that we understand what formative assessment is and its connection to on-the-spot feedback, let's think about our students when they are in class and their attitudes to speaking English in the classroom, because their attitudes, as you might know, might be very different. They may vary a lot. There are students who are very quiet, they never speak, they're always like there, but they don't risk anything. Some other students might use English all the time, but they're not exactly accurate. They're only focusing on fluency. They just want to speak and go, and that's it. And we also have those students who are only focusing on accuracy. They want to get everything correct. But this might come at the expense of fluency. So there's this idea, right? Fluency versus accuracy, yeah, in the classroom all the time. And it's interesting because while error correction in summative feedback might translate into correcting, every mistake a student makes, think about the tests that they have at school. We need to, check everything, correct every mistake. In formative assessment, the teacher, we teachers, we need to be more careful. And then all of this leads to us teachers thinking, okay, so should I correct this? Is this a mistake or is this an error? Yeah. What should I do? So there are a few questions here that I've prepared that I like to think of when choosing when to use on-the-spot feedback, when correcting my students at the moment. The first one is, does this mistake affect communication? Because if so, yes, please. If the student can't really get the message across, they're trying, but they can't, then help them, of course. Give them the tools that they need. If the mistake doesn't really affect communication, then I would think about question number 2. Is the focus here on accuracy or fluency? If it's on fluency, if the task or if the focus of this stage of the lesson, this task, this moment is on fluency, maybe I don't need to correct this at this point. If it's on accuracy, yes, then by all means, please intervene, yeah, somehow, so that the student knows how to go or where to go, right? The third question is it really wrong? Sometimes students say something and then we're so used to correcting them that maybe it's not wrong. If a student asks you, "You okay, teacher?" I don't know. "You okay, Bianca?" Do I need to correct them by saying, "Oh, you cannot say you okay. You have to ask, are you okay? Are you okay, Bianca?" Instead of you okay. So is it really wrong? Or is it because informally in that context that we're just, I don't know, we're just in, just talking. And then he asks me or she asks me, "You okay?" Do I really need to correct them at this point? I wouldn't, because again, I would go back to the idea of number 1, sorry. It doesn't affect communication. It's not really about accuracy, and it's perfectly okay informally. If it's a test or anything, right? Again, if it's summative assessment, then yes, I would. But here, just speaking, yeah. The fourth question is why, right? Why did they make this mistake? Any mistake that you can think of. Is it because, one, they haven't been exposed to it before? They don't know the vocabulary. It's the first time you're teaching them animals and they make a mistake. They try something. Or it's the first time they are attempting to say something in the past, but they have never been exposed to the past before. So is it because of that? Or because it's a slip? They know, but they just forgot for some reason, right? And because if it's something that they haven't been exposed to, is this the moment to teach them? Or are you going to teach this topic, this vocabulary item, or this grammar point later on, right? If you are going to teach them later on, then there's no point in just talking to them at this moment right now, because chances are they will likely forget. But if it's a slip, if it's something that they know but they've forgotten, chances are they will remember more, right? Number 5 is a very important question. We have students, we mentioned that we have students that are very quiet and very shy. They really don't try using English in the classroom. But when they do, immediately you correct them and you make them know that whatever they're saying in English for the first time in such a long time is incorrect. So how do they feel after that? It's something we have to consider, because I'm not saying we should just like overlook mistakes, but we need to understand that they're humans with feelings, and they also want to be they also want to feel like if they make a mistake, they will feel welcomed. And if we, again, maybe the student will react badly to my correction because of that. I don't know. If this is something that I consider, maybe I would wait for them to speak a bit more, and then I would adjust my comments and, try to make them understand the problem. But if it's the very first time that they speak after such a long time, maybe consider correcting them later on, right? Is this the target language of the lesson? The mistake that they made, is this the target language of the lesson? Now, if it is, then yes, it's the target language. They are learning the simple past, as I mentioned. They are learning irregular verbs, for example, in the past, and then they say, I go to my friend's house yesterday, and then, of course, it's the language objective, right? So, no, I went. And we're going to focus on techniques later on in the next video. But the focus is, if it is this lesson that they are learning something and they make a mistake in that lesson, they are trying, but they need to be corrected in a way, right? And of course, their techniques, we'll be talking about them. And I love this question here. What time is it? And how's the student feeling? Let's suppose it's 7 in the morning. The student is super happy. I don't know, they come to you, and this could be a child, a teenager, it doesn't matter. And they come to you and they want to talk to you because they're happy to see you. And then they make a mistake. They say something like, oh, I don't know, I go to my friend's house. Let's use the same example. And then immediately you correct them. It's 7 in the morning. You've just seen your student. Do you need to correct them at this point? Is the focus accuracy or fluency, right? And how are they feeling? Let's say they're not feeling well. You see them and they're clearly upset. And then you ask them, are you okay? Or how are you? And then they say, I'm no fine. I don't know. They say something like this. Do you need to correct them by saying, oh, I'm not fine? Is this the moment to do so? What I'm saying is, we need to consider that our students are, who our students are, first of all, and then we decide to intervene. Because if we just intervene for the sake of intervening and, correcting them here and there, we might lose the human touch of on-the-spot feedback. And on-the-spot feedback is very much connected to understanding who your students are and understanding what the lesson is about, that stage, if it's fluency, if it's accuracy, the focus of it all. This is very important, and that's why we should correct students, but we should also focus on understanding who they are as well.